Greetings, chess friends. Today we have an absolutely titanic struggle. In searching for the games in my previous video for kings that had moved before and such, I had actually found this game and my jaw just dropped. I couldn't believe the excitement of the game, and I said this is worthy of its own video. And I actually found out that this was annotated by Kasparov himself in the My Great Predecessors series, volume 3. And I figured I would actually just put some of his notes in this video because I could not do it justice as he did. So really excited to show this incredible game. Just incredible. So here we go. Spassky is white. Lev Polagaevsky is black pieces. You may have heard that name, some Sicilian variations named after him, but just a very strong Soviet Grandmaster. This was the 1961 USSR Championships. And if you won that tournament, you were more or less the strongest player in the world. And it's just an incredibly strong tournament. Young Spassky was sitting at 7 points out of 9 here in the 10th round. And he loses this one in an absolutely tragic way. Black wins, and he just falls apart. Spassky in the tournament loses 3 more games and just absolutely shaken. One of the worst losses. So let's see. We have here a Queen's Indian variation. Remember, the E4 square is of critical importance in this one to black. So a lot of the dynamics of the game are based around that. In knight e4, kind of getting off the beaten path. Remember, this is 1961, so they didn't have as booked up knowledge, but they still were training for the opening and preparing and at least having creative ideas. And here, bishop f4, avoiding the trade, okay? But the game has already taken a bit of an interesting path. Bishop d3. This move allows bishop to b4. And really, all of a sudden, white has a tough choice to make. I mentioned in the intro that I found this game when looking for kings that just get moving, when we don't castle, and how or why this is acceptable. So here we go. White has lost the privilege to castle. Black, no real weaknesses, though. Just an interesting battle, roughly equal. I don't think anyone would say otherwise. And white, Spassky, if you didn't know already, was a very aggressive player, creative attacker. And really, I would say maybe gets lost in the shuffle somehow, world champion, because of Tal being sort of the patron saint of attacking. Of course, Fischer, and that put quite a damper on the Spassky career, I guess, as many people just think of him as the guy that lost to Fischer. But he himself was an incredible player and really fun. King e2. And here I did want to read a note from Kasparov. He wrote, King e2, chess is a mysterious game. White makes a second move with his king, and his initiative merely increases, since now the way is open for the queen's rook to go to g1. So really interesting note there, at least a quirk of chess. You make a king move that helps your attack. Let's keep going. d6. g4. What an aggressive move. Now, black ignores this. We have to ask, though, what if f takes? And there's some incredible variations here. Knight g5, threatening checkmate. Also threatening knight e6, hitting the queen and rook. So you really do need to take this. And h takes opens this rook on h1. This hasn't even made one move yet, and it's one of the best pieces we have. Check this out. g6, and here, rook h6. We are actually threatening rook takes g6, a pretty forcing line. Queen e7, rook h1, and not the best move here, but I put the move rook f7 in as a natural one and got hit with queen takes g6 just to illustrate the danger. So a beautiful combination that would have been. Black is in trouble there. There's better ways to defend not allowing that move, but black would be in real trouble. He does not capture this g-pawn, and what a move that is. Knight d7, rook a, g1. I would honestly give a little bit of a grain of salt to this question marks because, again, it's the olden days. The engine is a little too harsh, in my opinion, with the very natural moves, like putting your rook on the g file. Okay, rook g5, queen d7. It says miss, but again, I would say a little too harsh, a lot of these. Knight e8. That attacks the rook. Rook g2. And for all intents and purposes, white is doing really well here. White has the safe king that didn't castle, and white has the access and use of the g file to launch this attack. So you can imagine maybe this pawn playing a role, the queen, bishop, and knight all very helpful, and you can see black is in trouble. A desperate move, trying to kind of essentially distract his opponent, and black is really getting outplayed here. C5 does slow down the action, at least on the king side and on the g file, but h6, here we go. It is obvious that white is dreaming of an attack or a checkmate. Rook f5, good move. Bishop e5, and this is really the best bishop could ever be. It's right in the center. It's protected. It aids in the attack. Just an outstanding piece, that bishop. c4, queen e4. That hits the rook in the corner. Don't forget. Queen d5, queen g4. And again, this pawn is under huge threat with queen, rook, bishop, pawn, everyone pointing that way. He plays c3. Again, a good move, but desperately trying to drum up some counterplay. If you were to take this, actually quite a mistake. Here, queen c4, and you can feel there's some real danger here. Again, king d2, perhaps queen takes a2, or king d1, king e1, take here. It's not actually so easy, and black is actually winning this one now. So surprise, c3, good move. b3, another good move. b4, and black is essentially dreaming of an endgame and saying protected pass pawn, anyone? Whereas it would be unfathomable to make it to an endgame. This one really looks like it's over within 5 moves, and it should be. And Spassky plays the best move. This has been an attacking masterpiece by white. And I mentioned that white actually lets this one slip. Look at this king move. White is absolutely winning, coming forward with the king. A beautiful move. Essentially breaking the rules of chess, strategic rules, but therein lies the beauty of chess, when you have these moves which seemingly can't be made, and the logic overrides that. And the fact that, wait, the king is safe. There's no pieces that can bother it. Here, knight f6, a good move. Bishop takes, rook takes, and rook takes h7. Brilliant. The engine absolutely over the top. White is completely winning. Kasparov mentioned that he said many strong players he felt like would just simply play moves like this and queen h5. This variation absolutely lights out. Queen takes h7. This rook is not hanging, and that will just lead to checkmate. So that was pointed out by Kasparov, but you got to love the move, at least visually. Rook takes h7. That is a hammer blow. And rook takes f3. You absolutely have to hand it to black. Despite being worse, this whole game is going toe-to-toe, not going down easy. King takes, queen d3. How are you? Only move king f4. How are you feeling if you're white here? Such a sharp position. Obviously, this rook cannot be taken. I don't know if that was obvious a moment ago. Let's see. It takes. We can just play g8 queen. And with the queen and rook backing that up, there's just mate coming in to move or two. Okay, so the real game was, again, rook f3, king takes f3, queen d3, king f4. That's the only move. Bishop d6 check. King g5, the best move. King takes rook. Now that the white king has stepped in the way, this pawn cannot be promoted. And here, a tragic moment for Spassky, who loses his cool completely. Plays here king h5, thinking there's no checks. I'm safe. Promotion is coming. Queen g6 is coming. It is over. He's about to resign. Check. And he was stunned by this one. Sadly, and noted by Kasparov and others, king f6 is absolutely a winning move. Queen takes and king f7, capping off a masterpiece of attacking chess. Kasparov had an eloquent explanation for this. Had white carried out his plan of king f6 and king f7, this would have been one of Spassky's best wins. Such bold raids by the king under a hail of bullets can be counted on the fingers of one hand and are part of the golden treasury of chess. Alas, Spassky suddenly imagined that after king h5, the checks were at an end, so he's also saying black was very low on time, completely losing. And actually, king h5 throws away the win. He just didn't see this backwards move check. King h4, which was played very quickly. Bishop e7, and all of a sudden, black has the edge. Queen g5 with seconds ticking down. Remember, no increment, folks, in 1961. No digital clocks, so it's literally ticking. And he plays the best move, queen g5, a brilliancy of his own. Giving away material. Takes, loses a bishop. But the resulting endgame here, we always have to focus on what's happening now. 6 pawns for white, 5 pawns for black, but white has some inherent problems. This pawn, immediately targeted. This pawn, which looks like such a powerful pawn, actually just needs defense. It needs to be guarded. After, in a moment, king g8, it's more a liability. And this pawn is truly the most likely to promote. Unbelievable turn of events, f4, and really that move throwing the game away. Activity is the key, Kasparov notes, and rook c5, equal material. Now white back up a pawn, equal material again. King g4 allowing e5, walking right into this. Still, the engine giving a slight edge to black. Perhaps there's drawing chances, but really black seizes the opportunity here. a5, that keeps this nice chain connected. Capture, capture, king g6, threatening checkmate, but rook g4 and king h7. No problem with rook c8 check anymore. We can always capture the pawn. Black's rook is placed perfectly behind the pass pawn, and actually black is just winning. g8 queen, that's a discovered attack too. Capture, and this game is over. Rook g1, rook f1, and rook b1. White resigns. Spassky resigns. Kasparov goes on to write, "Nowadays, no one remembers it, but this undeserved defeat cost the 24-year-old Spassky far more than the title of USSR champion. It shattered him and upset his creative mood, and Boris was simply unrecognizable at the finish. After losing to Simigin and Korchnoi, and then to Stein in the decisive game, he again failed to qualify for the interzonal." Yikes. Okay, so a little bit of stroll down the Soviet chess school lane. I love these classic games. You might think the old Russian chess school is very proper and positional, but these games are absolute pandemonium. And it's really fun when the kings get off the hill right away and just start playing, when there's just dynamic tactics everywhere, even blunders. And reminds us, of course, that grandmasters do make mistakes, game-losing mistakes, and the tension is still very, very high. So definitely, as always, I recommend you look at some old games, help you learn with the classic chess school, and that will, if you're looking at the games of today's top players, it is fun, I admit. But you're not learning as much because the games and tactics are just way too advanced, way too hidden in the weeds, in the analysis. And these games you see here from 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago are much more valuable to your chess education. So, all right, folks, another great lesson in the books. We'll be back soon with more chess content. And if you do have any comments or any thoughts, suggestions, topics you want to see, definitely send those over. Been getting a lot of traction on the channel and very excited. Thank you all again and have a great day.